thought you were safe, just when you thought you knew we were going to round out episode 124 with the midweek wrap-up, you're wrong because we got Hell in a Cell predictions after this.
Hell in a prediction cell.
I was almost going to say Hell by the Bell.
That's even better.
But no, we're not ending with this video. We got one more.
Well, I'm sure I got to talk about
But you are right in this being the midweek wrap-up.
Okay, good. Okay. Glad I wore this for a reason. I was like...
This is not the Raw review.
It says NXT somewhere. It says on the tag, I think. I got this at the NXT show, God damn it.
He's on the Raw brand now. Unlike these guys. They're on NXT. You can't really see that.
But they weren't on NXT this week because they've already advanced in the Dusty Classic.
Yeah, we had the last two Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Tournament first round matches.
There you go. And our first one was hashtag DIY Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
My boys. My other boys. These are my boys.
Taking on Team China, that's Tian Bing, formerly known as Wong Bin. And,
or Bin Wang, one or the other.
Yeah, however you want. He's got like 4 different names now. And his partner, Hoho Lun.
Who only has one name.
Yeah, which that's the one name we've known him by, so that makes it a lot easier. But, obviously we knew that Gargano and Ciampa were coming to play in this. They make a great tag team. But Bing and Lun made a really good team.
Yeah, impressive for Hoho Lun being one of the guys who I consider one of the weakest participants in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Specifically, probably the weakest person to advance out of the first round.
Yeah.
So, to see how much better this match was for him than what he did in the tournament was refreshing.
Yeah, so it helps when you've been at the Performance Center a little bit longer. You can adapt to the in-ring style as opposed to, just a month or so you do weigh-ins and then you're going in and then you're doing this big old tournament with a bunch of other guys that wrestle so many different styles.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely adapted to the ring. Bing, who's only been in WWE for maybe 5 months tops since he got signed. It was sometime during the summer he got signed, but he's pretty decent for having for this being like his first TV match. I was really impressed. He had some good spots with Ciampa. Played good muscle on that team as opposed to the tiny toothpick that is Hoho Lun. But you can't really top the tag team work that Gargano and Ciampa have been doing.
No, I mean, they've literally been teaming in NXT since the first Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yeah, it's been a whole damn year, and they proved it with a quick little tag that no one saw coming. Allowed Johnny to do a slingshot spear to take out Hoho Lun. Big old knee knocked down Bing off of the apron, and then a running knee super kick combo. Put down Hoho Lun, and DIY moves on to the second round to face your other boys, the Revival.
Yeah, this rivalry's peaking in the second round of the tournament.
Yeah, no, we're not even. One of these teams isn't making it past the second round, so we'll see who that ends up being next week. I think next week, might be the week after. We have one match for sure next week. Actually, the one match we can talk about that we have next week is we do have Authors of Pain taking on Noe Jose and Rich Swann.
Yeah.
And the Authors of Pain are obviously pumped for that. And Sanity will actually face the winners of our main event, which we'll talk about in just a second.
We had the backstage segment with TM61 talk about their second round match because they're going to be going against Austin Aries and Roderick Strong.
That's going to be such a good match.
That's got a main event, whatever episode of NXT this is on.
That might even be the main event next week. If we know we're getting Swann and Jose versus Authors of Pain, that could definitely be like an opener or a mid-show match, and then top it off with TM61 versus Aries and Strong.
Yeah, I don't care what week that happens, but that's got to be the main event.
Yeah, no. Good promo, funny promo from TM61 talking about how much better of a team they make than Aries and Strong. They used to be good, but we are the good team now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to go with the most recent history, TM61 has been a unit more in the last few years together than Austin Aries and Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
You know, Aries and Strong had their bit back in the earlier years of Ring of Honor. They've been separated for a while. Austin Aries went to work for TNA. Roderick Strong stayed in ROH.
Mm-hmm.
They've been split up. So
TM61 have been together the whole damn time.
yeah.
Gives a lot of momentum on their side. Heading over to things dealing with the NXT Championship, Joe feels like he's gotten inside the head of Shinsuke. Because he's doing the interview and she says, you know, we saw you last week, it seemed like you were coming down to attack Shinsuke. And he says, no, what I was doing, I was coming down to test what would happen, and
He wanted to assess the damages.
And he realizes that he has Shinsuke so paranoid that Shinsuke felt like he had to attack Joe because he knows that Joe can put him down at any time he wants.
Yeah, Joe. I don't want to bust your delusions of grandeur, but he was just pissed off.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you separate someone's shoulder and put them out for a couple weeks. They tend to be kind of pissed off, especially when they're a champion and they like making money wrestling.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, I don't think he backed into a corner by any means.
Joe seems to think so.
I guess he was like between a Joe and an awkward place.
That didn't work as well as you wanted it to, did it?
They had Patrick Clark behind him. That's awkward.
Moving on. Back to a teaming situation. We had Billie Kay coming down with her regular tag team partner, Peyton Royce, as Billie Kay would take on Aaliyah, who we've seen. So we're seeing Aaliyah, start to pick it up a little bit in the ring.
Yeah.
She's getting better every time we see her, and she had a really good match against Billie Kay, pulling out some enziguris, pulling out just a little bit more ferocity on her side, and it works for her because she's tiny. But
here's someone I think like had a really short segment revolving around them in Breaking Ground, and I feel like
bring that show back. It's good.
Please, that was awesome.
It's a good show.
But I feel like this is someone. I mean, they could be bringing it back.
Yeah,
I mean, like all these network shows are filmed way in advance.
Right.
Hence why you get like 6 months of advertisements before the next season of Swerve comes out.
Yeah, true.
You know, or how they can like hype up Holy Folies for 3 months,
and then put out 5 episodes.
Yeah. Where's the rest of the episodes, guys?
Anyway, back to Aaliyah.
I feel like if they were to bring us a second season of Breaking Grounds, like she'd be one of the focal characters.
Yeah, she'd be the Enzo and Cass, or
sorta.
She'd be, or she'd actually probably be like the Tino Sabatelli.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be the this is where she used to be. Now look where she's at. She's getting more matches. She's getting some wins. She's on TV. So, she was having a tough time because Billie Kay is so much taller than she is. So she's got the reach with the long legs, long arms. She can pretty much hit Aaliyah wherever she wants. But there was a slight distraction when Liv Morgan came down and started to beat up Peyton Royce. So Peyton starts to climb in the ring to escape Liv Morgan. And we get like this tug of war between Liv Morgan and Billie Kay, which Aaliyah takes advantage, rolls up Billie Kay and gets the win. And she is like so excited. She takes off. She's like, I won the match. That's all that's necessary. But then Liv starts taking on both Billie Kay and Peyton Royce by herself. Aaliyah's like, well, shit, I gotta go help. It all ends up with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay standing tall, though, putting both the ladies down. Looking a little worse for wear, though. They did, the Liv and Aaliyah did some damage.
Yeah. But I feel like it's one of those moments where we're going to realize that it might take more than 2 tiny, scrappy people to put a chink in the armor of Team Hot Australia.
Yeah, I think we could see this being possibly a second or third match at TakeOver. A women's tag team match.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see.
Yeah,
I mean, I know we've got a championship match women's championship match, a potential tag team championship match if Revival don't make it to the finals of the tournament, and the Dusty finals.
And we have Ty versus Bobby Roode.
So, I mean, there's potential for one more match to be snuck in on that card.
Yeah. Speaking of Ty Dillinger versus Bobby Roode, Ty Dillinger took on Noah Pates in a very quick match. Beating him with a tiebreaker. Starts cutting a small promo on what he planned, the revenge he plans to get on Bobby Roode. But Bobby Roode was ready for it and ended up hitting his Impaler DDT, his glorious bomb, if you will, up on the stage.
Yeah.
That's a nasty place to be taking that move.
Corey called it the implant DDT.
The implant DDT? The Impaler DDT was
Gangrel.
I knew that. That's just what I call it.
It's basically the same thing. It's a lift DDT.
Yeah. So yeah.
Lift with a Y.
So Bobby Roode, getting the last laugh on this one as they head into probably what's going to be one of the most hyped matches for NXT Takeover.
It's going to be like maybe on paper and to like the casual NXT fan, it's not going to be like wow, this is the match we're here to see. But you get there live in Toronto.
People are going to be making some fucking noise.
This is going to be the match that just is going to drain the crowd of all the energy because it's two homeboys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Term.
And then speaking of NXT TakeOver, we still, if you know, spoilers, we still hadn't found out who Asuka was going to be defending the women's championship against.
I can tell you she's not defending it against Thea Trinidad.
No, she, Thea had a moment. It was one moment, but she had a moment.
And then Asuka had about 8 moments.
Yeah.
All over Thea Trinidad.
One of which included a trapped German DDT into a Fujiwara armbar that Thea Trinidad tapped out to. And then William Regal's like, you know what? I know you've been running roughshod over this women's division. I've been looking everywhere for your opponent, and at NXT Takeover Toronto, you will face this lady. And if you didn't know before, hardcore country Mickie James making her return to WWE to take on Asuka at NXT Takeover Toronto
for the championship too.
Yeah,
that's like big deal. I wanted to point out something at the end of this match. Between Thea and Asuka, is I got a lot of vibes of Kana out of this.
Yeah.
The pre-Asuka.
Definitely.
Asuka. Because Kana treated her matches a lot more like shoot fights.
Yeah.
Like shoot matches, which if you don't know what that means like legitimately competing. Like either for dominance or like say if you had a beef with somebody, you would shoot on them, aka like actually try and like beat them or actually try and hurt them, sort of thing. And that's the way that Kana or Asuka would really handle herself back in the day.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot of involving that like basically smothering your opponent.
Yeah.
Where it's like she used one move like an ankle lock, and then she without letting go of the ankle lock did the German suplex. And then
out of the German suplex
without letting go, transitioned to an armbar.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she wasn't giving Thea much room to move, and
let alone room to breathe.
And like Thea got some shots, but she just kind of no-sold it. She's like, "You really, okay." And that's like this was I liked this Asuka that she's just like she doesn't give a shit about Thea. And then when it's revealed that she's going to be facing Mickie James, and Mickie James is like doing this promo like, you think you have everything figured out, but you haven't faced anyone like me before. And you just see Asuka just like she's so ready for this match.
Yeah,
and
she's getting super excited.
And that makes it even more exciting, that the fact that the champion isn't like the scared like, oh no, what's going to happen in my match? She's legit ready for that challenge. And we know that we've seen Asuka dominate on the NXT roster, and we know that Mickie James is a fantastic wrestler. So
and like if you haven't been keeping up with Mickie James post WWE or post TNA, she's still
damn good.
She's still got it.
Yeah. So that is going to be an exciting NXT Takeover. it's already shaping up to be fucking awesome. I'm super excited for it. But we do have one more match that is our main event. Kota Ibushi originally supposed to be teaming with Hideo Itami, but an injury unfortunately is keeping him out for a few weeks. So he was unable to compete in the Dusty Classic.
It might be more than a few weeks.
I heard that it was only supposed to be like a 4 to 6 weeks thing.
I don't know. I haven't read any updates on it, but just watching the video.
Yeah, the video's nasty.
Ow.
So Kota was teamed up with the WWE Cruiserweight Champion TJ Perkins. They hit it off pretty well. They had a fan-fucking-tastic match in the Cruiserweight Classic, so they have some respect for each other, and they're getting in there, taking on two of the standouts from the Cruiserweight Classic, in Lince Dorado and Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, Lince Dorado did great in the Cruiserweight Classic, advancing pretty far. Not quite probably as far as he wanted to go.
No.
And Mustafa Ali kind of blew everyone away being the one stand-in competitor during the tournament.
Yeah,
the guy who wasn't even supposed to be in that top 32.
Yeah, he was a last-minute addition and had a fantastic match in the first round.
Sorry, Zumbi could have been you.
Yeah. You should have lost some weight, man. That's all you had to do. But yeah, and Ali and Lince made a great. I loved the beginning of this match where we had Perkins and we had Lince face off, and they had a very like back and forth, move for move.
Mm-hmm.
They had that little standoff at the end, and then we had the tag in of both Ali and Kota. And then they came in and they started going hot and heavy, and then they finished their little roundabout with two really big drop kicks to each other. And it was a good match for match setup for this. Everyone kind of had something to counter something else, and then it picked up. And we had 3 or 4 false finishes in this match.
Yeah.
Which
what it was is this was the tag team equivalent to what we saw in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not to say that they've set a standard for themselves, but if you watch what per se the Cruiserweight division on Raw is doing versus what when the Cruiserweights are having a match on NXT.
It's a stark contrast.
You see when you watch them on the NXT brand, be it a one-on-one between two people who were in the CWC, or having somebody like a Cedric Alexander or Kota Ibushi coming on to NXT to have a singles match with an NXT guy, you see very much more something that resembles the Cruiserweight Classic tournament.
Yeah.
Versus on Monday Night Raw, where you are definitely seeing the much more less divey, less exciting Cruiserweight matches.
More of the don't make everyone realize that the rest of our roster is kind of slow.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
It's the be yourself versus the don't be indie.
Yeah. But yeah, a fantastic match. We had Lince, I think, got out of the knee bar and actually rolled up Perkins at one point. That was super close to being.
Perkins was going for his. He's going for the prawn driver that he uses to get into the knee bar.
Yeah, and then
Lince just sat on it.
Yeah, sat down. We had Kota hit the Golden Star moonsault to the outside, and we thought it was over from that point. And we had a kick out. It was just move after move you thought needed to finish this match. And then Ali ended up getting tagged in and did a wheel kick to Kota, and we thought, okay, TJ's down, Ali's up. Then all of a sudden the knee bar happens and Ali is the one tapping out. So we have Kota and TJ Perkins moving on to the second round, and they will face Sanity.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
That will be interesting. Because that's going to be, as far as styles go, it's going to be one of the biggest clashes of styles between wrestlers in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Definitely.
With the exception of any team versus the Authors of Pain.
Yes. Let's move on to Lucha Underground. We found out that Sexy Star was planning on cashing in her Gift of the Gods championship, but Dario, lets her know, hey, that's fine, but you have to get through Johnny Mundo tonight because you're defending your championship, and she's fine with that. But
it's just like gonna be a warm up.
Yeah, so she is totally sold on what she's capable of. So that's our main event. Our first match is Marti the Moth versus Ivelisse.
Yeah.
Which Ivelisse just got the runaround in this match because there was a lot of interference from Mariposa. A lot of interference in this episode of Lucha Underground, by the way.
Yeah.
So it was really
Lucha interference ground.
It was it was really an uphill battle for Ivelisse the whole time, and it didn't help. Marti ended up hitting like a full Nelson, like I don't know, almost like you would land out of a side effect, but it was like forward. I don't know what type of move you'd call that, but a full Nelson slam of some kind, and Marti the Moth picks up the win. But then Jeremiah Gray made his return to Lucha Underground, and
technically this would be his debut in the Temple.
Yeah, his debut in the Temple, his second appearance to us. Going out there trying to save his girl, taking on both Mariposa and Marti the Moth at the same time.
Yeah, they both get boots in the face.
Yeah. And then we actually saw them later. Jeremiah's like trying to convince Ivelisse that Dario gave him the chance to compete in the Temple, and he's trying to be like, this is a cool idea. We can do so much better than you and that other guy. Talking about Son of Havoc. And she's like, all right, fine, but Dario's a big piece of crap. So if he puts us against each other, I'm gonna kick your ass. And that just kind of turns on Jeremiah Gray that she talks like that, and I can't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you? This actually went into an interesting other backstage segment, like from one car to another out in the parking lot, where we saw Dario get into the limo with the councilman.
Yeah, Councilman Delgado.
That he talks to all the time, and he's asking, he's like, hey, this is, I can't remember what the word he used was, but it was like, the something is almost complete. Have you found a vessel for like the reincarnation? And we kind of get this realization that this is what Dario is using Tejano and Cage for.
Yeah. Is
that the unique opportunity that they're fighting for is to essentially be the embodiment of the return of the gods in what is going to be this gigantic tribe war. And so Dario ends up getting like this weird big fucking box thing that I'm assuming has like the soul of like the gods or something in it, which will probably be infused into whomever wins this best of 5 series.
Or it's got a glowing purple light in it.
Well, it's definitely got that, but I'm pretty sure that's just special effects for the gods. The gods just project purple until they're ready to embody someone. But we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find out who that ends up being. We also found out who this White Rabbit guy has been talking. At first he was lost, now he's found. It's Paul London.
How about that?
Who would have thunk it?
Man, Paul London, you're looking a little haggard.
Well, Paul London always did kind of look a little haggard. But now he's just like...
I'll be real. Like, Paul London in my memory was like 10 years ago.
Like the baby-faced hooligan alongside Brian Kendrick?
Yeah, legit.
Brian Kendrick is a little haggard now, too.
If we're comparing the two of them, Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, he's definitely gone a little bit more by the wayside than...
He looks a little like... Paul London looks like haggard the way like Hugh Jackman looks haggard from time to time.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch like Hugh Jackman's like Instagram...
Oh, yeah.
Some of the times you think like, oh man, Hugh Jackman, he doesn't age. And then some people are just like, wow, Hugh Jackman, you are getting old. This was like that for Paul London.
Yeah.
Where Brian Kendrick looks more like Breaking Bad.
Legit. It still says they'll be here soon, even though it's only one guy. So are we going to get more guys? Does Paul London think he's multiple people?
It's possible.
That's very much a possibility.
Well, he does believe in the multiverse theory, so...
This is true.
Listen to these guys' podcasts. Listen to like Paul London and Brian Kendrick podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so going into the best of 5 series, this is match number 3. Cage is up 2-0 over Tejano, so this is a must-win situation for Tejano.
God, it's almost like we just saw this in a form of a best of 7 series.
Yeah,
with
but
2 other big guys.
Yeah, but this one's probably gonna have a way better outcome because Lucha Underground doesn't overdo shit.
Yeah.
5 is way better than 7.
5 is way better than 7, but it's just like the similarities to me are completely striking, with the fact that like we had Sheamus go up 3-0 on Cesaro, to the point where Cesaro had to make a comeback in order to stay in the series. Now we have Cage up 2-0, and Tejano has to make a comeback to stay in the series.
This just means that WWE had someone watching Lucha Underground were like, we're gonna do this.
Potentially, there's a mole in Lucha Underground.
Because this was shot months ago.
But if you want the confirmation, then what ends up really having to happen is they draw in match 5, and then Dario makes them both gods.
I can see that happening, honestly.
And if that's the case, then we do know WWE had a mole within Lucha Underground, because, I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah.
They
I'll
tied
be
it.
so mad. I will be so mad at WWE if this is the way this thing ends. I'm going to be so mad. But Tejano does end up picking up his first win, despite a really hard-fought battle. Like, they beat the shit out of each other.
They did until Cage just became the destroyer.
Cage got cocky, though.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, he was like legitimately like one after another at the end. Like the last minute and a half, 2 minutes of the match was nothing but Cage signature moves, one right after the other, after the other. And it was just like, damn, Tejano can take a beating.
But then he decided to get lazy after hitting the Lucha Destroyer, giving Tejano a little bit of a break trying to kick out of that one. Tried to set it for the jackhammer and got hit with a small package. So Tejano picks up a win, is now 2-1. So we have at least one more match if Cage can pull it out, or we have 2 more to see if Tejano can pull ahead.
Oh, I can guarantee it's 2 more.
Shut up, we're not doing Sheamus
They're-
versus Cesaro.
They're being double gods.
Not
They're
gonna
be a
happen.
tag team of gods.
Next week,
And they're going to fight the New Day.
Next week, our main event is going to be Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero in a loser leaves lucha match.
The Triple L.
We saw Rey talk to Chavo Classic last week, and he got the confirmation from Dario this week that that'll definitely be our main event next week. So one of these guys is going away unless they pull some sort of shenanigan, which is possible because it's wrestling.
Yeah, Chavo Guerrero is going to lose, and then all of a sudden at Ultima Lucha Night 1, Captain Mexico is going to make his debut.
Ah! Oh, shit. I'd laugh, actually. I'd be mad, but I'd laugh. I'd be like, oh, fuck you guys.
The best part is he's going to come out to Real American. He's going to have a blonde...
That's
blonde
even
mustache.
better. You're
No, you know what's
making
going to
me
happen.
want
You know what's going to happen.
I don't want to know.
Chava's going to lose, and Kerwin White is going to debut.
Please. Please, that'd be fantastic. Can they do that? I don't know. Can they take that gimmick? Does WWE still have stock in Kerwin White?
I don't know how far the copyrights or whatever, the trademarks and stuff
It's
last.
been 11 years.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has. Has it been 11 years already?
Yeah, I think
It was the same year when Eddie. It was the same time Eddie was.
Yeah,
when
because
Eddie died.
he was Kerwin White for like 2 weeks, and then Eddie died, and then he went back to Chavo.
Yeah.
So Eddie died in 2005, I think so. Yeah, end of 2000. Yeah, because then they had the banner for him at WrestleMania 22 in 2006.
Damn.
That's how I remember. All right, so our main event, Johnny Mundo getting a shot at that Gift of the Gods Championship, because god damn it, Johnny wants some gold. But he wants the Lucha Underground Championship. And the only way he's going to get that, unless he gets picked on Dario's Dial of Doom, is
Dario's Dial of Doom!
by beating Sexy Star for the Gift of the Gods Championship.
Yeah, this is just an ends to means to the end.
Yeah.
It ends to the means to the end.
Unfortunately for Sexy Star, Dario Cueto made the ruling that Aerostar, Phoenix, and Drago couldn't get involved. If they did, they'd be banned from the temple forever, but didn't make the same ruling for the Woog.
Yeah.
So
that was unfair.
Johnny and Sexy just kind of beat the shit out of each other for quite a while. Some pretty good spots. It looked like they were just really trying to fight each other. Like it wasn't a lot of pretty stuff. It was just trying to hurt one another.
Well, I mean, it was. You have to look at it from the Johnny Mundo perspective. This is what he's thinking is this is my only chance to get a shot at the title.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be going hard. And Sexy Star's I already said that I want to be fighting Matanza next week, so now I have to fight hard in order to retain this just so I can get my title shot.
Yeah. And so Johnny pulling out all the stops. They knocked down Marty Elias was just getting knocked all around the ring.
Yeah.
And that allowed the Worldwide Underground to get involved. Chairs were involved. We had both.
Referee Rick Knox got double super kicked.
We had PJ and
Pajama Black
and Jack Evans hitting a double super kick on Sexy Star.
Or their team name Pajama Jack.
Just all kinds of shenanigans trying to screw over Sexy Star, but she kept coming back.
The Mac came out.
Yeah,
and
she was set up for End of the World with her neck in a chair. Yeah. And then, the Mac comes back, hits a stunner on all three members of the WUG. That gives Sexy Star a little bit of an advantage. But Johnny ends up knocking her down again, grabs the chair. Marty's getting back up. Marty sees the chair and he yanks it out of Johnny's hand. But for some reason, Johnny had his pants unbuckled and happened to have a pair of brass knuckles in his britches. And unfortunately, popped Sexy Star in the face, pinned her, and now he is the Gift of the Gods champion. That's unfortunate. But
it is.
I will say that's a very good way to get some extra heel points on Johnny.
Absolutely.
So, good booking for Johnny. Sad to see for Sexy Star, because it would be really cool to see her actually be the one to beat Matanza and take the championship.
Yeah. Well, there's always what do they call it?
Aztec
Warfare.
If she ends up being in Aztec Warfare, that's where we're going to be having Matanza defend the championship. Then before we go off the air, we have Vampiro talking to Prince Puma in the back, saying that he's proud of him of how he put down Mil Muertes last week. And I don't really know what Vampiro's goal is at this point. Like, is he just trying to talk Puma into going down a dark Pentagon Junior type road? Because
I don't think so. It doesn't seem that he's erring in that direction.
He keeps trying to get under the skin of Prince Puma for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't think he's intentionally trying to get under his skin. I think he's legitimately trying to help Prince Puma.
Okay.
But Puma knows the story, like everyone else at Lucha Underground would know the story between what happened between Pentagon and Vampiro.
Yeah, they hated each other.
And so, Pentagon and Vampiro, they tried the whole student-teacher-pupil thing. Pentagon got too big for his britches, ditched Vampiro. But, it was after that Vampiro said that he was done with all the dark, evil, bad stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to maybe atone for it and help out a good guy and keep them on the good path. And I think maybe eventually the intention would be
to go against Pentagon Dark.
To coach somebody to knock Pentagon Dark off of his evil, creepy black pedestal.
That could be a killer match for
Ultima Lucha.
For Ultima Lucha Trace. So. We'll see where that ends up going. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the midweek wrap-up. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
And be sure to click all the links down in the description and send to all of our social medias where you get updates to videos. You get extra stuff that we post from different types of social media. Sometimes we do live tweets and live posts on our Facebook during pay-per-views if we happen to be watching it live. For those of you that are listening to us on that SoundCloud link, you want to come over here to the YouTube because we got an extra video coming up that you don't get podcast style.
Yeah, you heard me say it at the beginning of this video. We're doing Hell in a Cell predictions next.
That's coming up next. Like, legit, we're about to shoot it. It's going to happen. So, you can only find that over here on YouTube. Also, the only things you're going to find over here on YouTube from us is going to be the stuff over on Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
Yeah, it's reasonable with a W.
Like wrestling. Where you find all of our YouTube-ier stuff. We got reaction videos.
Unboxings.
One just went up. We got an unboxing video coming up here pretty soon. We got debate videos. We got rant videos. We got our punishment videos that happen after the wagers we do during the prediction stuffs. So be sure to go over, check all that stuff out, subscribe, get updates to those videos as well. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.